Hello everyone, Leon here, and I'm here to show you all how to use the Unity token package. So we have a blank project. I'm just going to import this in. This package here does things such as sending and receiving tokens. It also gets the balance of any token that you want. In this case, we'll connect to a Rarible 1155 token that I have. All right. So to go over the structure again, we have prefabs, which we'll go over in a bit, a scene, which handles wallet importing and generation, and scripts, which handles all the complicated stuff. So if we start up the wallet scene, this is an easy way to handle public and private keys. All you got to do is run this. And you have three options. You have the option to sign in if you already created an account, create a new wallet, which will generate a seed phrase, or import a seed phrase. So if we go to create new wallet, you can see this will be your seed phrase. It has a balance of 0, but you can connect it to MetaMask and fill it up later. But in this example, we'll import a seed phrase, and this will be from MetaMask. So if I go back to my browser and I click MetaMask, I can get the seed phrase from here. So click on Accounts, Settings, Security and Privacy, Reveal Seed Phrase, enter in the password. Copy, paste in here, hit Next, and this should save your public and private keys securely. There's an error here, which means it's supposed to connect to the next scene once it's done. So to fix this problem, all you have to do is go to Build Settings, add Open Scene, which will be index 0, which would be the wallet scene, and index 2 would be any scene that you start up. So maybe your main scene. Okay. So now that that's saved, I can now go to the prefabs. So the prefabs have a bunch of functions that you can drag and drop and test out. So if we go to example scene, start from fresh, and go down the list, you can see how it works. So for example, I can go to, you can see here, Ethereum balance of. So if I drag this in here, and I hit play, if I go to console, you can see the balance in Way and the balance in ETH. So if I go back to, you can see the balance. So how does this work behind the scenes? If you go to the scripts of this prefab, there's one called Ethereum balance of example. If I double click this, you can see how it works. So on start, this can be anything really. First, select the network. In this case, it's Rinkeby. You can select mainnet, Robson, Kovan, etc. The account, which is my MetaMask account, and call this function here, Ethereum.balanceOf. You pass in the account, you await it, and it prints out the balance in Way. If you want to convert Way to ETH, you can just use this function, convert from Way. All right, what's next? So let's get the balance of an 1155 token, which is this one. If I drag this in and I hit play, and I go to console, you can see that the balance is 91. So if I go here, you can see that we're targeting this token right here, which has a balance of 91. So to go into more detail, if I go to the code here, it's set up in a very similar way. Step number 1 is to get the network, which is Rinkeby. Step 2 is to get the contract. So where does the contract come from? The contract comes up here. So 0x2EB. So 0x2EB, great. So now this line here connects to the smart contract. Next is to get the balance of. In this case, I want to know how much does this person have, which is my account. Specifically this token ID. So where does this account come from? This account comes from MetaMask, so it's either MetaMask here on the right or this URL. And the token ID, which is 17, where does that come from? This comes also from the URL up here, 17. All right, now that you have all this information, you plug it in with this function, ERC1155, balance of the account and your token ID. And you should get the balance. Cool, what else we got? We can also transfer 1155 tokens. So before I run it, let's go over the code. So it'll be 1155 safe transfer from. So let's go over it first. So on start, it'll connect to the network, Rinkeby, contract address from that URL, and there's an optional field for private key. If you go through that first scene that I mentioned with setting up the wallet, all of this is handled. If not, and you decide to do it yourself, then you must pass in a private key to start the 1155 contract. This connects. Next is you send from, so who's the owner, who you're sending it to, the token ID, and the token amount. Data here is an optional field that you can pass in. And to execute the function, it's simply ERC1155 safe transfer from, and you pass in these fields. And in return, you get a transaction hash. So let's give it a go. Okay, so we have a transaction hash. So I can copy this. I can go to back to the ducky, because that's the one that we sent, and went from 91 that we mentioned previously down to 90. But let's verify. So if I go to Rinkeby, paste in the transaction hash, and there it is. There's your transaction. We also have more features. Feel free to go through this list, and yeah, more to come. Thank you.